Ladies and gentlemen, almost every trader out there has tilted. What is tilting? Where did it come from? Can you actually conquer it? Is there a way to conquer it? Because the funny thing is, when traders tilt, they tend to double down, take very large positions, blow out their account, have that one blowout day that if they just remove that one blowout day, everything would be rosy and good. And it was the biggest moment of weakness, yet almost every single trader has gone through it. So we're going to talk about how to actually conquer that today. And tilt. It's the dreaded four-letter word. If you're like 99.9999999% of traders, myself very included, we've all experienced it, some more than others. We've certainly seen it occur in other traders around us. But what exactly is it? Where does it come from? Why do we experience it? What I want to do is I want to not only examine the scientific evidence behind this horrible psychological phenomenon and what tools we can deploy as traders to mitigate it, if not outright conquer it. Logically, we know, or you should know, that staying calm, controlled, unemotional, dispassionate for the market will lead us to more victories and less losses. We were taught that. We were taught that. We were taught to leave our emotions at the door as if it were a physical object that you could actually physically drop at a door. Yet, traders to this day still fall prey to it from time to time. Even professionals do it. In fact, it is often professionals in other things outside of trading, even in sports, who experience the worst form of tilt. So, why do we still experience this, even though we know we should avoid it? And I just wanted to quickly talk about tilting, and we're going to be introducing to you the most innovative way ever released to control a tilt. And actually, we're just going to talk about the history of it, and then I'm going to be working with one of the heads of the EMDR Institute to help you conquer it. So that's going to be the juicy part. But let's just go right back to the beginning. Does anybody want to guess where tilt started from? It's not a new phenomenon, and it's certainly not confined to, you probably heard the term either in poker or online video games or trading. And what we call tilt, pinball, excellent. What we call tilt is, in fact, just another label for an extremely well known psychological effect which occurs across all sports and indeed many parts of human life. The word tilt first originated among, as you're saying, pinball players. Excellent, excellent call. The frustration when you're playing a pinball, and I have a pinball machine, I have a Twilight Zone pinball machine, and the frustration of seeing the ball follow that path right in between the flippers led some players to physically tilt the machine. In fact, the best pinball players in the world know how to tilt the machine without causing a tilt to go off where everything stops and you lose the ball. And they tried to guide the ball to safety. Manufacturers of pinball machines quickly figured this out and added tilt sensing devices to their machines. Moving or tipping the unit too much would cause the machine to flash the word tilt and freeze the flippers, resulting in the ball being lost for certain. When it comes to trading, your trading software is not warning you that you are tilting and I'm going to shut your trading software down. No, it allows you to continue to trade because you are responsible for your own destiny. And I want to get into a little further now that you know where it originated from. I want to just talk about the crucial point that we must be aware of is that tilting is not just merely getting angry or frustrated, although being tilted is likely going to make you feel those emotions. Fundamentally, tilt is a breakdown in which the way our brain processes information. That's what is happening. So, I want to talk about, there's a lot of neuroscience behind it. And I want to talk a little about that. I don't want to go into the entire part of the neuroscience, but they're basically there's this conscious part of the brain which is excellent at performing single, uncomplicated tasks or carefully analyzing detailed information with a narrow focus, which is what we do in trading when we're looking for a certain setup. We're narrowed focus. We're trying to focus down, or at least you should be. And in effect, your brain is acting as a serial processor, and it can only do one thing or a small number of things at any one time. The subconscious part of your brain is much more powerful and can perform enormous numbers of complex processes all at once. It acts as a series of parallel processors. However, it cannot do this until the information has first been written into through repeated practice. This is what I like to call creating neurological pathways. And the more and more you do things, the more and more you reinforce these neurological pathways, the more likely you're able to do it. So, for example, I tell traders who are supposed to stop trading at 10:30, what I do is I say, play the alarm sound on your phone, set an alarm for 10:30, for example, and tell yourself, I will not trade, and say it 100 times. And the reason why I tell you that is to create those neurological connections within your brain. So when it comes to tilting, it seems like Wall Street's answer, Wall Street's answer for you to stop tilting is, well, you have to remain disciplined, they'll tell you, and you have to abide by your stops. That's why stops exist. And I stop and I look at that and I say that it is utter nonsense, garbage, useless information, lip service at best. Because even though that is true, and everybody knows that, the majority of traders, at least at some point in their career, fall victim to that. So, what is really happening when we tilt? Well, how does all this background information tie into this main subject? And as I was telling you before, tilting is when the brain uses the wrong processing system. Tilting is not, believe it or not, it is not a lack of focus. It is not a lack of effort. It is not a lack of courage. In fact, often trying too hard as a trader is the cause of the tilt in the first place. Fundamentally, tilting is a problem of psychological reversion, the flipping of the brain system used by experts to the brain system used by novices. It's a form of a neural glitch. It's a glitch in the matrix, if you will. And that is more of the scientific part of it. When an expert tries to perform a complex task, be it anything, trading, be it sports, be it a tennis stroke, a soccer ball, bowling, a video game, any tendency to focus too much on the mechanics involved is likely to be catastrophic. In a high pressure situation, when you try too hard to focus on your own mechanics, you're more likely to tilt and make tilt based mistakes. Bear with me, I'm going to give you all the solutions. I'm just explaining it to you now. You're going to get the solutions, but I need you to understand where I'm coming from, which can lead to this snowball effect as you try harder and harder and harder and harder to correct them. You trade more and more and more and more and more, and you take that loss, and then you're looking for the next trade, and you're desperate to look for any idea. And there it is. There it is. You're following a guru, a trading guru, somebody in the room, somebody in the chat, somebody here, and you're like, okay, that person, I have to try what that person is dishing out today because I'm down money. You are more likely to tilt if you lose on your first trade. So, what should be said for one of the things in tilting is that it is almost mandatory that your first trade is profitable. You are almost, your chances of tilting on a day where you make money on your first trade is almost, you ready for this? Zero. Almost zero. When you keep doing this, it leads to that snowball effect as you try harder and harder to correct these decisions, completely taking over your subconscious part of your brain and trying to force your conscious part of your brain to take its place. And that is going to end up with a disastrous result reflected in your P&L. It's it's kind of it's kind of interesting when I talk about thinking too much and um, I could use so many examples in sports of tilting, but let's talk about overcoming it. I want to just jump to the conclusion, then I'm going to show you a system that is I believe, second to none. I believe it's revolutionary to tie this into trading, and nobody talks about it. Everybody likes to boast about all the wonders of trading and all the fanciness and the glamours, and I guess I'm blessed to have those things. But at the same time, nobody talks about the exact flip side of making tons of money. They don't talk about that day where you lost tons of money. And this is why I feel it's an important subject. Maybe it's not sexy enough. Maybe people watching say, I want to see about the few grand you made today, Mark. I want to see something like that, or how much money you made. That's not what this is about. This is overcoming something that affects 99.999% of traders. You probably tilted once in your life, and I guarantee you don't want to do it again. So I come to this conclusion that we understand what tilt is, and we understand the reasons why behind that it is occurring. But what do we really want to do now to use the information I'm sharing with you to reduce the amount of tilt we suffer from ourselves? How do we do this? So there are three different stages, or there are different stages when you're overcoming a tilt. The first and most important um, is realizing that there is a thing called tilt in the first place, believe it or not. Vast majority of people that tilt while trading will not know what it is and what is happening to them, because trading involves interactions with the world powers and the world's money, if you will. Most people will naturally project their own failings onto others. They will simply prescribe their own frustrations as bad luck, bad this, crappy plays, this person's fault, pointing a finger. That is why we see such a huge prevalence in commonalities between people who tilt. So, in order to combat tilt, we can actually, believe it or not, deploy a series of psychological tricks to switch our brains back into the correct processing system. As the old saying goes, prevention is better than cure. So, not tilting in the first place is much more effective than trying to recover from a post tilt stage. I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. And if you've entered a tilted mental state, the first important thing to do is recognize that you are tilted. Often this itself is quite difficult. It's much easier said than done, as your emotions may be running high and your thought processes are already crowded. So to prevent the tilt, we need to engage in a complicated method of thinking in order to trick our own brains. And we're going to talk about how we can trick our own brains in the systems that I use to combat it. So one of the things was I had the pleasure of speaking to somebody from the EMDR Institutes, the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And just to show you the website really quick, there's a link in the description so you could find an EDMR institute. So for example, if you live in, I don't know, let's say you live in Los Angeles, you just type in Los Angeles. You could choose a zip code or whatever, and you just click search, and it'll show you all the people who are good for EDMS. Some of them have specialties. I would try to avoid the ones with specialties because very few of them have specialties in trading. A lot of them are, like HIV, depression. That's obviously you do not want to see this person, God forbid. But you do want to see somebody like this who can actually help you. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I got to speak to um, the board, the people running the MDR Institute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working directly with them to create a service exclusive for Newsbeat Live members that are going to help you prevent tilting based on a created system that we're going to be offering members inside the room for free. And while maybe you don't, think about this often about tilting. Maybe that's not your thought process when you're coming inside the room. Maybe that is not what you were thinking when you're trading, that you can actually be subject to blowing out your account. And everybody has heard the saying, live to fight another day, but very few people are actually living to fight another day. So there's two things you need to do if you are watching this now to prevent yourself from tilting. There's three answers, as I said, but there are three things, but there's two things. The first one we're going to talk about is systemic. We're going to talk about systemic desensiz excuse me. Cat got my tongue. Systematic desensitization. Don't say that three times fast. You might tilt. Wink. And we're going to show you exactly what that is and the list that I created for you today. So it's a very simple list, and it shows you how to do it. But before we get into all the steps and how to, accomplish it, I'm actually being part of the Newsbeat live room is going to be the third step, because I'm going to be working to create a literal mathematical system with licensed psychologists to create this system and offer it for Newsbeat Live members for free. And if you're not in the Newsbeat Live room for whatever reason, that's okay too, because I'm going to show you two of the three steps you could do to conquer ever tilting ever again. I mean, this is going to be the biggest prevention of tilting. I would consider it similar. I would consider this such a high effective rate of what I'm about to teach you now. If you watch and bear with us here, I would consider it to preventing STDs by wearing a condom. Like, I would actually draw that link, like 99.9% percent effective, or like pouring alcohol on like a toilet service and it kills 99.9% of germs. That is the type of odds I believe that I will be able to accomplish by teaching you systematic desensitization. And it's a form of behavior therapy if you've never heard of it before, and it's based on the principles of classical conditioning. The systematic desensitization technique, or let's just call it SD, crazy because I use the whatever SD technique, is proved to be excellent in dealing with different phobias, anxiety disorders, panic disorders, as well as phenomenally self-destructive situations, tilting and trading. According to systematic desensitization, or SD, a learned response, for example, the most common one offered if you look on the internet, will be the fear of spiders, and it can be unlearned through classical conditioning in a new response. For example, relax when you see a spider can be induced. For example, if a person is afraid of spiders, and this is just an example here, it could be anything: heights, trading, tilting, losing money. This works for everything, and it is phenomenally high effective hit rate. See, I always aim for consistency. I always aim for consistency. There's some things out there, some drugs which get FDA approval, which have like 8% effective rate, and it's like the gold standard in drugs. This, for some of the track records of the things that I've been reading, can be over 90% effect, like 99% effective if you put in the work. Now, again, being part of the Newsbeat live room, I will be putting in this work for you to help prevent you, whether you do these or not. But I do suggest that you go through everything because, you know, as they say, the only safe sex is abstinence. I'm going to show you how to be abstinent from tilting. How's that? I don't know why I'm using those analogies. I'm just looking for things that use 99.9%. Anyway, so a person is afraid of spiders. Yeah, your Adderall, IQ, you take Adderall, 9% effective, exactly. The fear of spiders can be gradually unlearned by using the SD technique. For example, someone's anxiety can be replaced with relaxation. By actually replacing the way you feel after you lose money on a trade, you can actually replace that fear with relaxation. And when applying again, systematic desensitization, I'm just going to call it SD, to treat phobia, therapists usually follow these steps: relaxation, constructing an anxiety hierarchy, and pairing the relaxation with the situations described in the hierarchy. So I'm going to give you a very simple breathing exercise. I am not a pioneer, but I am drawing and I will be, correlating these things together. So I created my own hierarchy here. So this is the issue. You think about buying a stock and buy it, and then it goes against you. You think about ignoring your stops, physical or mental. This could be for whatever reason. Usually people will ignore stops when a stock goes against them right away. You think about watching the market with this losing position, hoping or thinking that it should go higher. Does this sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen, to any of you? You think about adding to the position through doubling in, so you could get a better average price and it's easier for you to get back to break even. You think about the position continuing to work against you. You think about adding in yet again. You think about the position continuing to work against you. And this is all mental. I'm not actually putting you in this situation, hence why I use the word think about. You think about seeing a massive down P&L. Insert a number 20 times more to the downside of your best day ever. Your best day ever is $1,000. Think about losing 20 grand. Your best day ever is 5 grand. Think about losing 100 grand. Your best day ever is $100. Think about losing 2 grand. And notice this hierarchy gets worse and worse as I go down. Think about losing all your capital and confidence forever. Think about never trading again. And you might say, Mark, you're going to give me nightmares. You're going to give me nightmares. What is this stuff? I'm going to desensitize you to actually thinking these things, and you're not going to react to these things emotionally ever again. And again, I'm not a licensed psychologist. I did not create the systematic desensitization technique. I did not. I am not the inventor of it, but I will be working with licensed therapists to create a product that will forewarn you of odds of tilting and help you avoid it altogether. And again, this will be exclusive I can only do it in a room in a real-time basis, so you're not going to see a video. This video, I'm trying to give you as much as humanly possible without the thing. You watch this video, you're getting 2 out of 3 things that I can use to help you. You're a Newsbeat Live member and watch the video, you're getting 3 out of 3 things. It's the best I can do. I'm not holding out on you. I just really can't communicate with you on a real-time basis through these videos. So what you do is when you go through this, you go through a relaxation technique. So what I want you to do, we could do it together, is the relaxation technique is very simple. If an individual is afraid of something, for example, of what I showed you, he or she or it needs to learn to relax when they face the object of their fear. A common relaxation technique is deep breathing or chest breathing, and here's how you do it. And what you do is you inhale through your nose, and when you inhale, your stomach should expand. Mine does naturally from fine dining. But when you inhale through your nose, your stomach should expand. So my stomach's expanding. Hold your breath for 3 seconds. Exhale through your mouth. So here is the relaxation technique. I'll share it with you. It's very simple. Here's the relaxation technique. Again, this is just a simple online breathing exercise. This is all you have to do. So this is what I want you to do. You have to really close your eyes, not while watching this video. Maybe, you could practice it, but copy this down, take a screenshot of this, just hit print screen, and here you could do the relaxation techniques as well. Think about buying a stock tomorrow. You hit the button, whatever it was to buy it, whether it's a market order, a limit order, whatever you are doing, and then as soon as you buy it, it goes down against you. And imagine what your P&L's looking like. Imagine that. Right after you do step 1, you go right over to the relaxation technique. Okay, so I'll do it with you. Okay, I'll do it with you. I see the thing in front of me. You could screenshot it. If you're in the Newsbeat live room, I'll just spam it and post it after the thing. But you could, whatever. All right, I'm thinking about buying a stock. I buy it and it goes down against me. See my P&L red. Already, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. I've been trading 20 years. Damn right I know what that feels like. So I'm going to just do the breathing technique. Now I'm going to go to the second one. Think about ignoring your stops, physical or mental. I know this position's going to work out. I have such a high hit rate. I know what's happening here. I'm going to think about ignoring my stops and just holding the position. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to do this exercise in the beginning. What I like to do is I like to call it the the 30 reverse. So basically the first day you do it, you do all 10 of these steps 30 times. I know. I know. You want these videos to be like every other video where I show you 3 candlesticks or 4 candlesticks and what you could do and what they mean and how you make money and everything in your life is jolly and everything is good after that. But we all know that's not true. So instead of lying to you, instead of scamming you, instead of promising you, riches in the world, but not really showing you how to accomplish it, I'd rather show you how to accomplish it. So you basically, what do I mean by the 30 reverse? You do all 10 of these steps 30 times, and then the next day, you do it the very next day 29 times, 28 times, 27 times, 26 times. Mark, that's so long and so hard. Look, if you don't want to work on your own brain, if you don't want to work on proven methods to actually fix yourself from stop tilting, just leave this video. I mean, you don't. What do you think this benefits? I'm trying to do good upon the trading world by working. What do you think? I want to sit there and talk to a psychology nerd running an organization? You think that's what I want to do with my time? You think I want to sit there on the phone and talk to this dude? I want to get you the results. I want you to never tilt again. If you're not willing to do the work, then I wasted your time. Then if you're watching this video right now and you do not want to do the work I showed you, I wasted your time. Okay? Fact. So you do it 30 times the first day. Between every single step, you do this. You do this. What's going to happen is you're going to create neurological connections and pathways within your brain that are actually going to help you overcome it. This first way is phenomenally effective and is free. It doesn't cost you money, but it costs you time. You could do this entire thing 3 seconds. You could do this entire thing 3 seconds 30 times. You could do it in about 30 seconds times 900 seconds. You could probably do it in 20 minutes to 25 minutes. If you're not willing to invest that amount of time in yourself, okay, I failed you. And you could go back to potentially tilting and not caring about your success. I tell that to everyone because there are going to be some people who take this to heart and are not going to tilt anymore. There are going to be some people, nah, it's too hard. If it looks like work, I don't want to do it. If that's the case, fine. I was spending hours and hours on the phone with a licensed nerd trying to figure out how to help you. Okay. There's one more. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Um, I created this anxiety hierarchy for you. It doesn't have to be this way, but step one has to be lighter than step two, and it has to get worse as it goes down. I use 10 steps. That's what I found effective. I mean, I haven't tilted in a while, but I had to tilt several times to get to where I was today. And you don't need to suffer that pain, or maybe you've already suffered that pain. You don't need to suffer that pain again in order to get to where you need to go as a trader. The second thing that you can do is exactly what I showed you on that website. Where is it? Is EDMR. And what this does is It's a licensed therapist. It's a licensed, and I just use Los Angeles as an example. I put the link to this part of the page in front of you. I can't legally recommend that you go look for an eye movement desensitization and reprocessing doctor. So just know that do whatever you want. This is up to you. But if you find one of these people and you explain your problem as trading with tilting, they will help you. And what I am doing is I am talking to a gentleman running this institution, and this gentleman is going to help me figure out and create a system to do it in a real-time basis for traders. Basically, start warning you where you're more likely to tilt is going to be the general gist of things. It's under creation right now. It's not going to be available tomorrow, but it's under creation right now, and it will be there for you. But this is the second thing you could do to help yourself. And this one obviously does require money. So whatever, I live in New Jersey, I could just type in New Jersey, search, and I'm going to do it. Why? Because it's one person in New Jersey. Oh, that was the city, New Jersey. Haha. I had to choose the state, New Jersey. I'm like, there's one person in New Jersey. No, that was New Jersey City. Okay. So like I could go through and look at the stuff they cure, and some of these cure rates are over 90%. Depression, phobia, trauma, PTSD, critical incidents, and adult anxiety, bereavement. But what I'm saying is you come to them with a unique thing and you will likely be able to be helped. I see so many of them who are near me. I am not suffering from tilting, but I don't want to be the person that preaches to the choir. I want to be on the front lines with you. So I haven't chosen one yet, but I'm just going to make some phone calls, and you could just like literally like click and view, and it shows like a name and a phone number if you're interested. And these are licensed EDMR um, psychologists, and they're going to take you through the process of actually curing this in you. And this is the part that costs money. The third part is I am going to be working with somebody in the top of, let's just say, the top of their field in the EDMR, and I'm going to be working with him hours over the weekend to create a system for our members to ensure that we give you every safeguard possible so that you will never tilt again. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Thumbs it up, share it, help other people see this. There's links in the description to this website. There's links in this description if you're interested in becoming a Newsbeat Live member or Bandit. Take advantage of it today. We have a lot more to come, and we're going to be bringing you a lot more things than you can ever imagine. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Happy trading, make money. I will see you guys next time on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.